Always so intimidating. So I want to just, even before I start talking, I want to just attune to Abby and, let her presence affect me and take her in. Hmm. Yes, I felt like I just kind of dropped into my heart as I pay attention to you, Abby. Hmm. So I'll describe a little bit what we're going to do, and then we're just going to sink in and do it. And I will do my best to leave a good 10 minutes for questions at the end for those who may have questions. Although I am going to try to narrate what we're doing while we're doing it as we go to help you understand more about how I do this work with people, which should be interesting because to narrate, I have to step out a little bit into beta brainwave state, and then to drop back in, I have to be in alpha brainwave state. But we'll just try to stay in flow as I both talk and connect at the same time. So what I want to demonstrate is how I work in one-to-one healing sessions with people. Now, typically for the kind of work that I want to support Abby with, I would do an hour and a half long session because we are hoping to also include some family constellations work, which is stepping into her family energy field. Because the challenge that she's identified, she already has a really clear sense that it's connected to, something that's more than her, something that could be inherited family trauma. So I did take some time with Abby beforehand. We had a little meeting earlier this week where I took down the details of her family history, the factual history of her family history, which can take a good 20 minutes or half an hour to do. And I need to do that before I work on generational trauma with you. But we're just gonna start. Let's maybe chat a bit, Abby, about so what you'd said you wanted help with was social anxiety that comes up for you. And there were some pretty key words you used to describe it. I'm going over to my notes here, and I'll just remind you some of what you said. So I'd asked you, when you talked about it, right? When we have social anxiety or fear coming up, it's like our body telling us that something's dangerous, that there's some kind of threat. And when I asked you, what do you think it is that feels like the dangerous thing that could happen in a social situation? And you'd said it was feeling the possibility of being judged as inadequate and then living into that, right? Then behaving in a way that leaves you feeling inadequate, feeling not worthy, feeling like you don't belong, and even deeper than that, sort of like an annihilation are the words that you used. And is there anything you want to add to that? And now we're going to interrupt because Jennifer's late. Hang on. I'm going to ask her to. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Just keep your video and your audio off, and we've already started. So just settle in and stay present. So sorry, Abby. Anything else that's just kind of like, I don't know, on top of your mind when you think about it now? Especially,
Mm.
especially since we're going to talk about this big, important meeting you had, not but a few days ago.
Um, yeah, well, I was at a community event over the weekend, and then I was thinking about it more because I was feeling it there, this intense social anxiety. So I was trying to analyze it a bit, and while I was there, and I think there's so much around hierarchy for me. It's almost like this. Who's above, who's below. And there's something very high school about it, or even like younger, maybe middle school. It's like,
Hmm.
who are like who are the people who are sort of more worthy and who are the people who are less worthy, and where do I fall in that? And it like it's this harsh judgment. Like
That
it
comes up in
feels
your
like
own head, you mean?
it's more that this it's not so much that I'm judging, it's more, although I am some, it's also that the space just feels complete, it's just laced with so much fear and danger.
Mm.
And this is in a very safe community
Yeah. Okay. You okay if
setting.
I pause you right there? Because that's
Hmm.
probably almost enough activation in your nervous system to be
Hmm.
like, yay, it's living already. Um, yeah, I'm going to start there. So, okay. So this is the sharing part where it's like, okay, what is the issue that we're going to work on, or what do we want to take a look at? And the way I always start a session, and everybody who's observing, I want you to do this with us at the same time in your own space. I always start sessions with people with something called orienting, which really just means I give the person a chance to look around their space, their environment, even if we're on Zoom, they're in a room somewhere. And it's something our nervous system naturally does to check out our environment and see if it's safe. Whether we do it subtly or very obviously, for example, when we're driving a car, it's very natural for us to do that. So just take some time, and Abby will do this, and we can all do this. You'll notice I'm doing this to just see what's interesting in your space. Where do your eyes go? Is there something in particular that draws your attention? We mostly orient with our eyes, but we will use all five of our senses. So you may be more attuned to sound in your space. You might, want to notice the texture of the armchair that your hands are on. You could include smells. Maybe someone's got something good going on in the kitchen. And you might notice that your senses continue to bounce around, or they may kind of come and land on something that particularly draws your interest. And Abby, how is that for you right now? Where is your awareness going?
I was just looking at these chimes that I had bought
Hmm.
that are make a nice sound and yeah, just
Hmm.
there was something grounding about them.
Cool. Go ahead and let yourself keep looking at them if you feel drawn to. And then I'm going to ask Abby to orient more to her, what we call her felt sense, which is sensation in her body. So I'm going to move her from her external environment to her internal environment and just ask her. So, Abby, as you're looking at the wind chimes, anything in particular you're noticing in your body? Any particular sensations kind of jump to your awareness first and foremost?
Mhm. Um, my feet kind of feel a little bit of tingly,
Hmm,
which for me is usually a reassuring feeling.
nice.
Hmm.
Tingly feet.
Hmm.
And are both feet equally tingly, or is one tingling more than the other?
Not both are tingly.
Cool. And does it stop in the feet, or does it come up to the ankles too?
It's really the soles of my feet.
Ooh, very cool.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm going to give you a minute to just hang out with that sensation if you want to, and just, stay with it. When we're processing something that's been held in the body, in the nervous system, the energy field, the body, it's really important to go slowly. Our nervous system responds to things very quickly, so the process of reprocessing it is to slow down and give the nervous system a lot of time and space to just kind of feel safe, feel into things. It's nice. Yeah. So now Abby's dropping into what we call settling, which is just something that naturally happens when we take enough time to orient and kind of orient to our external environment and inside our body. You could also call it grounding, but I can see it's happening for you, Abby. What's your sensation of the settling? How would you describe what's happening?
I'm kind of more aware of my breath and some deepened breathing. Um, and just feeling my throat chakra as well.
Cool.
Um,
That's cool that you have awareness of that. Would you say it feels open, closed, tight?
it feels kind of I think a little bit nervous, but not kind of uncontrollably, not in any way that feels alarming.
Cool. What's the
Mhm.
sensation that tells you, oh, that's a little nervous?
It's a little bit of a tightening at my throat
Yeah,
inside.
just a slight
Mhm.
constriction. Cool.
Constriction. Yeah.
Yeah, tight
Mhm.
constriction. Cool. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So let's go back to the most recent social situation, which was this event in the community this weekend. And just kind of let yourself just in your mind's eye, your inner image, maybe go to a moment that stands out for you in that event, where you were, what you were doing, or who you were with, or a moment in the evening. You don't even have to tell me what it is. It's not so important to have the details. If I was working with you privately, maybe I would ask you what it is, but for confidentiality, we don't need to know. But let me know when you land on it, and then let me know when you're landing on that moment, what is happening in your body. Yeah, what right there. What just happened there? Yeah.
Oh God.
It happened so
Oh,
quick, I almost didn't catch it, but it kind of felt like a this, like a.
uh, I think that because I'm so absolutely preoccupied with the judgments of others, that it also extends to the people who are closest to me, aka my partner.
Got it.
And so I was just remembering a moment where, at this event, where I was like kind of scanning him and assessing him and the kind of like how sort of acceptable he was and in the broader scheme sort of like yeah needing somehow for him to be seen as good and worthy in order so that I could. Is this, I don't know if I'm
Got it.
explaining it well, but
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine. That's enough
Mhm,
information. So when you're
mhm.
in that moment where you're noticing I'm scanning, I'm checking this, I'm checking to see how people are perceiving him too. As you're remembering that moment, what's happening in your body? What kind of sensations might you be noticing?
Oh, I completely disassociated when I was like completely out of my
Oh,
body.
you
I
checked
was,
right out. Wow, you're
yeah, I
fast.
just was like, oh God.
Whoop, gone. Wow, you're good.
Yeah,
Are you back now, or are you still kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah?
No,
Oh,
I'm back now. I'm back now.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And when I'm doing this, I'm also looking at him with this like kind of
Okay,
brutal
pause
eye.
here. Yeah,
Hmm.
this little hand gesture you're doing, just do
Hmm.
that. Just do it really slow. I'm looking at him and just
Okay.
feel that and just have a little just
Yep.
see, yeah, just see what happens when you do that.
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I've picked up is she very naturally started to express this hand gesture. This is a part of doing somatic work. Right now we're doing classic somatic experiencing work as I'm just working with this anxiety as it lives in Abby's body. We're going to expand out later to where it's living in her family body, probably through her dad, but we're going to start at this starting point, just how it's been living in her body. So anything curious happen when you add, just kind of slow down that little natural hand gesture?
Mm. Um,
Breathing's deeper, hey? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I felt some sadness come up of like just how heavy this is and
Okay.
how it how it really affects my enjoyment and my joy.
Yeah.
And so it's like there's some sadness that wants to come out. I could feel it
In your
out in
chest?
my chest,
Yeah. So just,
but it
okay.
didn't. I
It did.
couldn't.
That's
Yeah.
okay. But so
Yeah.
just touch the edge of it. Or what you can
Hmm.
do, Abby, is you might try the gesture one more time and just do it even slower. Just,
Hmm. Hmm.
I can't remember what you were saying about your partner, but you were sort of checking him out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this sort of brutal eye that I'm like, oh, are you okay? You know? And and what I mean is, am I okay?
Right.
Like,
So okay,
like,
so just follow this
mm,
finger. It's this is the
mm,
gesture. You
yeah,
and then back to me.
yeah,
And just do that real slow and let's just see what happens.
okay.
So in some sense, Abby's almost identified an energy movement that happens in her, assessing the safety of people
Hmm.
outside of her,
Hmm.
and then how this is kind of how she's internalizing it or how she's, yeah. And pause there, Abby, what's right there? Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because just my partner is does not have this at all. And so he was like, that person over there, and he would like full
Point.
on point. And I was like, stop pointing. Just
Good. I
and
love this movement. This.
yeah, I
I
was
think we should
literally
do
like,
that
you
again.
need to
Yeah.
stop pointing.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
and yeah, just I just feel this like whole body like flush of like horror of like
Yeah.
it's this it's this really like kind of wasp response too of like people are gonna think you're talking about them.
Can we have this
And
hand gesture again? Just this.
like, oh no, like what
Just
are
do
they
that
gonna
again. Just the breath
think?
and the ha. Yeah.
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 Mm,
So it sounds like
yeah.
it's this moment when someone brings attention, right? It feels dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Escalates your sense of
Hmm.
danger and therefore activation in your nervous system. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
bringing attention to you feels dangerous or to you and your partner?
Yeah, well, it's mostly how people know he's my partner, so how he's reflecting on me
Okay. Okay.
with his pointing behavior.
Yes. Pointing.
Totally unacceptable. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this, yeah. And what kind of sensations happening in your body right now? You look like you're still in your body.
Yeah, I felt good to laugh and just be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, just realize, just appreciate like how
it's
much
intense. It's big. There's a big charge
energy that
here. Yeah, there's a
yeah.
very big, let's call it anxiety charge for the moment. Yeah. You keep rubbing your chest. Is it you're feeling it in there or is it a
It's
heaviness
just
or
reassuring. Yeah.
wonderful. Okay.
Hmm.
Let yourself do that even slower and just allow yourself the
Hmm.
reassurance. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to drop something in here called an empathy guess. I use this a lot. It's a I hate to use the word technique, but it's a technique called resonance. It's one of the tools I use in my healing sessions a lot. It's a very specific thing I'm trained in. So I'm going to give you an empathy guess, Abby. And if it resonates, you may notice something change in your body. And if it doesn't, you'll probably just correct me and say, it's not that, it's this. So you just stay with what you were doing, that little comforting movement in your chest. And to give you an empathy guess, I have to really tune in to you, your energy field, and just like feel through my body what's going on in there. Abby, has this felt so scary for so long?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And does it make it even hard to take a full breath when that fear is there?
Yeah.
And does it start to feel so unsafe to maybe even exist in the room?
Mhm.
Yeah. And what's happening in your body as those empathy guesses land?
It's like I started to feel the grief when you're at your first guess,
Yeah.
and then you were still bang on, but I couldn't. Then I had to shut it down.
Okay,
So, and I
great.
kind of shut it down. Yeah.
Good. So there's probably another empathy guess I have there. I just want to say to those of you who are witnessing, if you're staying connected and tuned in, you will be co-regulating with me, with Abby. So just track what's happening in your own body as little shifts start to happen in Abby's body. Check with your own breath, your own sensations. This may also press triggers for you if it sounds a lot like your life. So it was like you touched the edge of the grief and then even that. So it does it, yeah, yeah. And so it does it feel even unsafe for you to show how you feel being so scared in a room full of.
Yeah, I don't, I'm not one of those people that cries easily.
Yeah, well, the challenge is, right? If the fear is people seeing you in some kind of way, crying's gonna be even worse, right? It's like, holy, do
Mhm.
I want to draw more attention to myself? No
Mhm.
way. Yeah. Okay. What I'm pretty sure Abby has going on here is something called alarmed aloneness. I don't know if I'll fully explain alarmed aloneness right here, but what I want to ask her body is, Abby, do you need some acknowledgement of alarmed aloneness?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how does that resonate when we ask that? Or does it change anything in your body?
It feels like the beginning of a trail.
Tell me the sensation that told you it feels the beginning of a trail, like something's shifted or opened.
I felt a little curious, like, and like I, something just told me that it would lead to somewhere deeper.
Yeah. I'm
Mhm.
going to give you an energy field observation too, because I'm feeling it, but I also can see, as you said, a beginning of a trail, your whole field is just a little more open and expanded. And it just feels like, wow,
Mhm.
there's a little more space here.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, I'm just going to stay tuned in because now I'm making a decision about where to direct you. Part of me is like, what alarmed aloneness needs is accompaniment, right? It needs to feel like someone is there with you, with the fear, with the anxiety in it, so you're not alone anymore. And there's a way I do that, a very particular way to help you do that. It's called time travel empathy, but I'm just kind of deciding, do we need to do that for the recent event that was just this weekend? Or do we need to go back further? Because I believe you shared with me that this was something that happened a lot in high school, this feeling of being alone, not being part of the group. Did I get that right? Did I remember remembering that correct?
I would say it goes even further back. I remember when I was in grade two, when we
Mm-hmm.
got broken into pairs. So I would have been
Mm-hmm.
8.
Okay.
And I remember feeling sorry for the people who had to be paired with me. Like I felt
Oh,
like sorry for them. And so yeah, this goes way
wow.
further back.
This anxiety's been around a long time, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. How does it feel? It brings up some grief to share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just um
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah. You don't have to plunge into the grief. What I want you to do is, however it's arriving in your body, just touch the edges of it. Almost like it's like, oh, woo. However that grief is arriving, I'm just gonna hover. There you go. You got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
is that for you? Is that chest or somewhere else or?
Um there's a lot of kind of sensation just in my throat area, and it's not even entirely in my body. It almost feels like just even a whole around, just that whole energy field.
Okay, so
Hmm.
stay around the edges of it. And
Hmm.
P.S., folks, that's a technique in somatic experiencing called titration, which means we just do, when it's a lot, when the intensity is high, we do less. We just do a tiny little bit. We
Hmm.
just touch the edge, or we move a little
Hmm.
bit here, a little bit there. We don't plunge in. This is, yeah. And it just makes it easier for that to start to be there and have some space. Yeah. Okay. So close your eyes, Abby, if that feels okay for you, and just keep listening to my voice. We're going to see if moving into a time travel empathy is going to be helpful here. And I use this almost every session I do with people because it's so darn helpful. So you folks will get to see what this looks like and feel it in your own bodies. So see if you can go back in your mind's eye, and you might be a visual person. I think you are because you were getting images of the recent weekend community event. But if it's just sensation, that's fine. But go see if you can find 8-year-old Abby. See if you can go find her. She's in grade 2. Maybe that's this moment where she got paired up with someone and she's not feeling so great about it. Yeah. Yeah, let me know when and if you find her.
Yeah, I feel like I found her.
Nice. And are you seeing her somewhere in particular or dressed a certain way? Or are you just feeling her in your body?
Um, I'm seeing her at school.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. And this memory um of feeling sorry for whoever has to get paired with me.
Yeah. Are you in a
Mhm.
classroom, in a
Yeah, in a
hallway?
classroom.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. And as you connect with 8-year-old Abby, what kind of sensations are you feeling in your body now?
Um, Not a whole lot.
I was gonna say, did she numb? Is she in a freeze response?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
feeling a whole lot, but
Okay. Let's notice that.
hmm
Yeah, that was my sense, is like
hmm
8-year-old Abby's level of stress, or fancy term, nervous system activation, is so high, she's actually numbing out and going into a freeze response, I think. Yeah.
hmm
So
hmm
just notice that lack of feeling, or however it is for you, because that is, in a sense, that's 8-year-old Abby living in your body right now. And we're like, hi there, Abby. Yeah, good. Okay. Next step. Ask her if she would grant you permission for big you, adult Abby, Mama Abby, who has kids, to come and join her in that scene. See if she would be cool with that.
Yeah,
Awesome. And
yeah.
then you just have to really be very attuned to her and feel, how close does she want me? Where does she want me to stand, in front of her, beside her? Does she want me just in the doorway of the classroom? Does she want me invisible? What feels like the right level of connection for her?
Kind of like standing in a little circle
Oh,
in the classroom. Hmm. Like
with her,
holding
with
hands.
just her and you, or her and her buddy, her and all the other kids?
No, 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 no. Just her and me and you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And by the way, if
Everybody is kind of frozen. We've
good,
frozen
perfect.
the
I was going to
yeah,
tell her if she wants
yeah.
to just put everybody else on freeze frame, that's
Yep.
totally fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you're holding hands and standing in a little circle with
Hmm.
her? Yeah.
Hmm.
How's that feel in your body? Anything change?
It's almost like I can feel like it's almost like this animal, like a soft animal
Hmm.
kind of feeling.
Hmm.
Like I guess like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you feel that in your body?
Um, Kind of like uh at the very skin level, like this,
Mm,
like, the kid's skin is so soft um and yeah, like maybe in the hands, the holding hands and just a kind of a that sensitive skin um body.
perfect. I'm gonna let you really slow down here, Abby, and just feel that. Just in your mind's eye, see yourself with her in the classroom. Everything's frozen, and just stay with that sensation and any other sensations that arise. And by the way, as we do this work, Abby's really moved down into an alpha brainwave state, what we could call like a trance state. This is the state that we rewire neurally in our brain, or what we know as neuroplasticity. Noticing her breathing is getting a little deeper. Yeah. Anything you have an impulse to say to your 8-year-old self, or is she happy to just be in the quiet with you?
She's very relieved not to be alone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, this is the accompaniment for her alarmed aloneness.
Hmm.
You know, the funny thing about alarmed aloneness is we can feel it even in a room full of people when we don't feel safely connected. Yeah. Alarmed aloneness is what comes up inside of us when our safe loved ones, when we're separated from them. Yeah. And give her hands. You're holding her hands, yeah?
Hmm.
Maybe you've already done this because I can't see your hands. That's one of the the downsides of Zoom, but just like give it, the tiniest little supportive squeeze, when it's like
Hmm.
it's that
Hmm.
sensation of, hey, I gotcha.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then just breathe with her. And the way you do that, Abby, is just pay attention to the feeling of the movement of your breath in your own body. You don't have to make it deeper. It's just feel the sensation of what it feels like to breathe. And that I always do this with people. This is almost like the deepest way that you can so intimately attune to these younger parts of yourself and just let them feel that you're right there with them, or what it's called attunement. Yeah. See if your jaw might relax, like just 2%, give it just the tiniest bit. Now I'm paying attention to what Abby said about her throat chakra, and I'm cheating and tuning into her energy field. To me, it still looks like it's a little tight, Abby. Is that right? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to give her an empathy guess for what I think is being held there in that energy center by her 8-year-old, and we'll see if I get it right. We'll see if it resonates. So, little Abby, 8-year-old Abby, does it feel so hard to articulate what you're feeling and why you're feeling it? Is it so hard to put words to what you're feeling so that you could even ask for the right kind of help? Yeah. Well, and of course you did, because this term alarmed aloneness only got invented about 3 years ago by Sarah Payton. So when she noticed that we go into these high states of nervous system activation and distress, not because we're being chased by a bear, not because there's a car about to hit us, but because we've lost connection with our safe loved ones. And this is the foundation of what a lot of people come to me to work on, which is anxiety, repeated lifelong experiences of alarmed aloneness that did not get accompanied, that still live in the nervous system as this low level or sometimes very high level hum of anxiety. How's she doing, Abby? How are you doing?
Um, I just feel like I'm just gazing at her. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like she's kind of drinking in that gaze.
Mm.
And it feels very nourishing.
Yeah. What's the sensation in your body that told you it feels nourishing? Is there something changing or feeling a little different?
I opened, I feel like I was able to just open and really
Mm.
release the throat more.
Mm-hmm.
And also that feeling of, um, you know how sometimes when you know you have to be brave for someone else, it makes you feel braver and it
Mm.
makes you feel better. And so that was kind of also happening of like I felt like I needed to be brave for her. And so I was
Mm.
able to be that kind of going in, mother her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another empathy guess for her. Let's see how your body feels about this one. Abby, do you need people to move into connection with you much more slowly than they often do in social situations?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rituals really help me. Hmm.
I'm almost getting this sense too, and I'm just reading this in your energy field, but so obviously when we start going to school, and this memory is, well into school, grade two. Did you start school in grade 4-year-old kindergarten or 5-year-old kindergarten?
5.
Yeah. We move usually from a social situation where we might be in daycare with a few kids, or maybe we're still at home with our primary caregiver. And then we move into this classroom situation where we could be with 20, 30, 15 different little nervous systems, and it's a lot of stimulation. Now, if you're a kid who loves that, hallelujah. But I know I've had to work through a lot of my own memories in my body of like, oh wow, I was like completely overwhelmed. Like that was all like way too much.
Hmm. Well, I had just moved from one city to another
Ah.
that for that grade 2 years, so I was in a new school and I didn't have any friends.
Oh gosh, so you really had
Mhm.
lost all your close, safe loved
Mhm.
ones. Did you leave
Mhm.
behind some friends in the other school?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask her that 8-year-old. Oh, actually, that hurts my heart to hear you say that. I just feel like this sadness, but 8-year-old Abby, was it really hard to leave behind, that familiar school and friends because you already have the kind of nervous system where it's like it's more work for you to make those connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, some sadness come up with that
Mhm.
too.
8-year-old Abby is a tough cookie.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
um she's kind of tough. She's like it was okay. She's like blowing bubbles and she's like she's
Eight
um
eight-year-old Abby, are you playing it cool?
yeah.
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 Well, that's what we got to do in these social situations. Don't let
Yeah.
on.
Like it's like the word vulnerable, I
Mm.
couldn't even say it as a teenager. I found it so actively disgusting. So
Oh.
that's why it's hilarious that I'm doing this right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Major steps. Yes, that's true. I'm going to earmark that too, because if I was going to continue to work with you in further sessions, Abby, the disgust response to vulnerability is very interesting to me because that's a different circuit of emotion. The
Mm.
circuit of emotion that we're looking at right now is called the grief panic circuit. That's the one that alarmed aloneness happens on when grief, because we've lost our close loved ones, but the panic of like, shit, I'm alone. Disgust is a different circuit. It's a protective one. It's a boundary protector. So I would just earmark that as like, disgust around one. That's very curious. That's connected to your family field. I can feel that right away. So we
Oh,
have a
yes. Oh,
lot of
yes.
time left, but let's see if we're going to jump into that for even 10 minutes. That's a real quick touch into the family constellation. But before we do that, just check in with 8-year-old Abby and see, does she want to stay in the classroom with you? Does she want to go somewhere else? Is she cool to just be there with you? What would she like right now?
Um, she feels like maybe she's ready to like go play a bit
Mhm. Okay.
and do her,
Somewhere
yeah.
outside? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe spin around on those metal bars with concrete underneath that we had
Yeah, yeah. The one that I
back.
cut my forehead open on and got some,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, real
yeah.
safe. Okay, off you guys go. So just you take her out there where she wants to connect in with her play circuit a bit more and just see how that feels in your body. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was a nice little touch in of accompanying kind of the source of the alarmed aloneness. Now, I would guess there's roots to that alarmed aloneness even younger than 8, but we trust the nervous system that take us like, oh, okay, present day situation, older trigger, and the nervous system is just like it'll drop into a memory. It's like, okay, let's touch into that one today. Again, sometimes if we have a longer session, it might suddenly your nervous system might move us back to, oh wow, and now I'm suddenly remembering something that was 5 years old. And we'll jump to that because they kind of stick together in the energy field. That's a concept everybody called a frozen psychic time conglomerate. Basically just means similar experiences that felt similar in your life that have a theme like abandonment or alarmed aloneness, they're like energy blocks that all kind of group together in your energy field. So sometimes when we touch into one, we'll work that one out and then another bubble of it will pop up and we'll move down through the chain in some sense, technical language. But this disgust with vulnerability, this is really huge. And
It's really big.
yeah,
Yeah,
when I say that feels connected to your family system, what is it that jumped out at you? Because it
that's
sounds like you have a
that's my
knowing about
dad.
it.
That's
That's
my
your
dad.
dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That he is disgusted with others' vulnerability or his own?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
How did you see him express that? Would he go into criticism or would he?
Yes. Yeah, he was really, quite brutal with my mom whenever she
Was vulnerable.
would
Okay.
express emotions, or even if she had friends that were like he felt overly friendly or emotive, he would actively mock them and imitate them and
Okay.
like in a really mean way.
So anytime your dad got close to what felt like vulnerability in himself, friends, or others, he would go into disgust.
Yes.
And so, what
Yes.
I'm going to give you informational wise, folks, again, is disgust circuit. Disgust comes up as a, ooh, that's the face we make when we do it right. It's a boundary protector. It's trying to keep something away from us that feels like a threat that could contaminate us. It's a little different than the rage circuit. Rage is also the other boundary protector. It's a little more aggressive. It's like it's going to get what feels like a threat away from us. This one we recoil more, rage we push away more. So this is a very interesting response that comes up in your dad. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to move really quickly here, and I wish I didn't have to, folks, but I might draw out an actual family constellation on the whiteboard. But here is just the quick. So right now I'm looking at, and you won't be able to see the details for Abby's confidentiality, but this is like this wonderful sheet of paper. This is Abby's 3 generation genogram. It's hard to see. She's in the middle here somewhere. Mom's on one side, dad's on one side, grandparents, grandparents. It's like a family tree. like you would draw a family tree, but the details I write down on it are, in some sense, the trauma history of Abby's personal, trauma history, her parents, grandparents. And what we're tracking is where does that anxiety maybe, where has that social anxiety maybe been living in her family system for longer than her? And you said your dad has like extreme social anxiety. Yeah, yeah. So when I spoke with Abby and we spent some time looking at her genogram, we looked at dad's social anxiety. We looked at what happened for him with his parents. And I'm just looking at it again to refresh myself as I would in a session. And we look at his mother, and what you said about her was not a warm grandma. Yeah, nervous and uptight, didn't like children, severe and unhappy, and also socially anxious. This is grandma.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is her
Yeah.
father's mother. So, what do we think it's like to be a child, to be dad, growing up with a mother who is not warm, didn't like children, nervous and uptight, socially anxious, and severely unhappy? Okay, this is a grandma whose nervous system is probably full of alarmed aloneness, full of anxiety, not a regulated nervous system, not easy to relax, feel comforted, or feel connected when this is our mom, right? So we're tracking it back through her. And then what do we know about her mother? So we have dad, Abby's dad, his mother, grandma, and her mother. And what we know about her mother is she died when grandma was an infant. So great grandma died when grandma was, even when I say that, I feel the hit in my chest. And then she was adopted out to one of great grandma's sisters. Anything happen in your body just when I say that, Abby?
It's interesting. I was just listening to it like I was somebody else's story. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Um, okay, back. So I'm gonna go back in my body now.
Okay, if you want.
um, um,
It's okay if nothing. I feel it in the field already because it's like I've already stepped into your family energy field just because I'm so used to doing this. And I'll
mhm,
try to
mhm.
explain to folks watching a little bit more how I do that so quickly because I know it's not so obvious to demonstrate, but
Yeah, I guess I'm just um I'm still feeling really I'm feeling really calm, and that actually also feels nice to do that,
yeah,
and
cool.
kind of comforting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm going to take a few minutes and hopefully everybody's still with me. And I'm going to draw the constellation on a whiteboard if that's okay with you. We've never done this before, so you'll see. I have no idea if we'll all be able to see this with the recording. It's going to be an experiment because I didn't test drive that, but let's see what happens when I pull up a whiteboard. Looks like you can still see us. So, folks, what am I doing here? This is family constellation work. So now I'm stepping into where Abby's social anxiety is has a connection in the family system. Now, if we were doing family constellations in a live in-person group, as some of you have already had the chance to do with me, we would be sitting in a circle in a room, and I might say to Abby at this point, Abby, please choose someone to represent you. And that person would step into the middle of the circle. But when I do this with a person in my office, I don't have people to represent. I would say, okay, Abby, I use coffee cups, different colored coffee cups. I'd say, choose a coffee cup to represent you and place it on the floor somewhere that represents where you're standing in the constellation, in the family field. So we're going to draw this out. So, Abby, just look at the piece of paper and tell me, where would I put you? Where do you want to be? If you were you, where would I place you? It's funny, I keep seeing people's names pop up.
You can place me kind of in the middle, but kind of more lower.
In the middle, but lower, you said, or more over?
Lower,
Yeah.
middle, lower. Yeah.
And quick check in with folks who are witnessing. If one person wants to unmute, I keep seeing you guys pop up on the whiteboard. Can you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see how good my drawing skills are today. I'm going to put a little Abby down here. How's this, Abby? Is this a good spot for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you looking forward, to the left, to the right, up, down? Where do you see your eyes?
Um, I'm actually kind of looking
Back.
back right as I look at the
Good.
screen.
Now, right for me, is that on this side for you? Other side?
Well, it's this side. I don't know. Does that work? Can you see my cursor
Yes, that
moving?
side. Thank you.
Okay.
You're looking back this way. Good. Where's Dad?
Uh, Dad is um maybe just like, oh, I guess I can keep doing the cursor here.
Really, yeah. He's up there. Yep.
Yeah.
And where's he looking?
He's looking, he's kind of just got his eyes closed.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
And how is this in your body just this much to have you and Dad in the field? In the field, in the family
Mhm.
field is the way we'll say it, folks.
It feels like a little, um, there's not a whole lot of comfort there, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not scary.
Okay.
Hmm.
Not a whole lot of comfort, but scary. I've drawn kind of like little Abby. And since you just went and accompanied 8-year-old Abby, can we put big adult Abby in here as a source of comfort?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where is she?
She would be right next to little Abby,
Over
like,
here?
yeah, like right around
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Make her bigger. We always want to bring sources of strength in for a person when we work with them. Can I make them hold hands? Would that be cool?
Yeah.
And are you looking at Dad, at little Abby, or somewhere else?
Um, I'm I'm looking at little Abby.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Great. So we've added another, what we call representative to the field to hold different energies that are already living in Abby's family energy field, living in her body. What we're doing when we constellate is we're looking at her inner image of how she holds her family and how she's been holding some things that are maybe not resolved in her family unconsciously in her body, which is could be the root source or it's just amplifying her own social anxiety. So when you look at this image, Abby, how's that feel? How's that for you?
Um, it's okay. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Who do you want to look at most? Little you, big you, or Dad?
I think I keep looking at little me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good, good. Let's bring Grandma in here, your father's mother. And where would she be? Where does she belong?
Um, she might be like back over here.
Hmm. And where does she look?
Um, she's looking at my dad.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to draw her feet yet till I had her in there. And she's deceased, is she?
Yes.
Okay. And let's draw her mother who died when she was a baby,
Hmm. Yeah, she would be much closer to her. Like,
right at her back.
yeah.
Okay. And looking at her daughter.
Hmm.
Luckily, drawing skills are not a prerequisite for being a constellations facilitator. Actually, I'll do this way.
And she has her hand on her daughter's shoulder.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. That's good. All right. And where does your attention feel drawn now?
Well, I guess I was drawn to my dad, I think because he's the one who's alone.
Ah,
Hmm.
yeah. How's your body doing right now as you look at this? And by the way, witnesses, when you participate in a group family constellation, whether it's an online group or an in-person group, you are part of the field and you're in the field. So keep paying attention to your body. Stay out of your head, stay in your breath and your body, because as energetic shifts happen on this level, you will feel them too. You will feel the field shift. So he's the one that's alone. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And he has a disgust response to vulnerability.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he grew up in a family of six siblings, correct?
Uh, five siblings. There were six total.
Got
Hmm.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and went to boarding school.
Right. That was very important. At
Hmm.
age 8?
No, I think he went at age 6.
Oh, that's so young.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm going to say a healing sentence. Again, this is part of family constellations work now, folks. We're dropping into soul level to sort of truths that have been living in the field, living unconsciously also in Abby's body. I'm going to say this sentence as though I was grandma. This is a sentence that goes from grandma to your dad. And I'll just say it and see how it resonates for you. So, grandma says to your father, I left you alone in so many ways, son.
Mm. When you said that, I just got upper body chills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She says to him, 6 years old is very young to be separated from your parents and sent to boarding school. I was separated from my mother even younger than that when she died when I was a baby. I'm aware that there's another energy in the field that needs to be named, and that's grief. This is grandma's grief that she would never have had space to fully feel over the loss of great grandma. So how would we draw grief? How do you want to represent grief, Abby, and where would it be in the field?
Sort of like a rain shower.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Over everybody,
Over
over just
over my grandma and my dad.
okay. Like a big cloud, maybe?
Yeah, big cloud.
Got it. So, oops, I'm gonna get the drawing tool back here. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Grandma says, another healing sentence that arises from the field. I don't make these up. It's like they arise from the field as truths that need to be spoken that shift the energy. Grandma says to your dad, so many tears I never cried that hung over you, my son.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I ever once saw my dad cry.
Whoa. Yeah, he had to hate his own vulnerability, right? Because it was in too intense, unalarmed aloneness, or too much danger of being humiliated at school
Yeah.
or something, right? It was too
Yeah.
dangerous to be vulnerable, so he had to
Yeah.
kind of block it off. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. How does your body do when we let the grief be visible?
It feels like it's still so external that it's like so fitting that it was a rain shower because it feels like that water, that liquid wants to be inside our bodies and
Mm.
come out as tears, but it's like these generations of um really struggling with
Yeah.
tears.
So another sentence for grandma. To be a good little baby, I had to push it away. Just like you push vulnerability outside of your body, son. So I'm going to wrap us up and step out here, Abby. There would be so much more to unfold in this constellation as we just continue to sit with and track the energies. In a sense, folks, when we work at soul level in the family field, we also work very slow. It takes time for these energies to just be given the space to be felt, to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be breathed in a similar way that the nervous system work did and does when I was just working on the personal level with Abby. But let's just take one last look because I want to try to finish this on time. Um, this is a good place to step out of the constellation in terms of, we've gone as far as, there's some acknowledgement here, right? There's grief that grandma never got to feel over losing her own mother when she was just a baby. This pool of grief that she had to push outside of her body. She became the kind of mother who didn't know what it was really like to have a mother. She didn't know how to connect. We call this a break in the bond. She had a severe and very young break in the bond with her mother, and that lives inside of her body. And she didn't really maybe even know how to bond with her children. She was not a warm grandma. She didn't like children. She was nervous and uptight. She was severe and unhappy, right? This is not a safe, comfortable place to land as a child. And it wasn't her fault, you know? This is a tragedy, a tragedy that her own mother died so young. But it made it very hard for her probably to bond and form attachment bonds with her children to the point, and then exacerbated by getting sent away to boarding school, right? So let's boil this down to where it lives with you, right? Then you get a dad who is carrying extreme anxiety, many, many, many experiences of alarmed aloneness, insecure attachment, not being comforted and soothed, living in his body that he pushes away with, he will not feel, right? He's vibrating with it, but he just won't touch it. And so then it's like the flowing down the extra gets to flow down to you, right? Now, some of it maybe your own experiences of alarmed aloneness, but the intensity of it, when we start to discharge this layer of intensity, it will probably be much easier for you to just kind of have less intensity around it to just manage it. That's my suspicion, but we've done a constellation of discovery. We haven't fully discharged what's living in the field. We would need more time to do that, which is, again, I always do hour and a half long sessions when I include this level of work with people. So is this an okay place to step out of the constellation field, Abby? Is there anything else that feels like it needs to be spoken or named or?
Um, just that when you were talking about my grandma, I just felt real tenderness for her.
Mm,
And more so for her and a little bit for my dad
mm,
when you were framing what, you know, um, I experienced him as just uh so problematic in many different ways.
mm.
Uh and this helps me kind of begin to empathize
Good.
with him.
Good. We talk about in constellations work softening and widening the lens, particularly with our parents, since they are our doorway into the rest of our ancestry, right? And it's just that when we can see the larger context that made them how they are, it just softens things for us. It's like, oh, of course. So I understand why you're like that, right? But let's make one last movement here, too. I want to put tenderness in the field. So, how would we represent tenderness and where does it belong? Because I think it's a really important thing that got lost very early on for grandma.
Mm-hmm.
So, where should we put tenderness?
Maybe just like some sun rays peeking out of that cloud,
Oh, cool.
like kind of coming like,
Over
you
here?
know, making sure that there's some warmth coming in. Yeah.
Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
Mm, good. Now there's a sentence from great grandma, and I just need a second to feel it. When a mother looks at her child with love, it's like the sun coming out from behind the clouds, lighting up her world. For you, my daughter, that sun went away when you were so very little,
Mm.
and your heart became dark, and you waited and waited for the sun to come back and shine on you, and it never did because I died. And if I could redraw it, and I won't do it right now, grandma would look down at the ground, both in grief, but also when a representative in the field looks at the ground, they're looking at someone who's dead. And so she's never had time to really, I mean, she was an infant, right? But to reconcile with the death of her mother, that would be the next movement in the field. But we're going to step out here, but I'm glad we brought some
Mhm.
tenderness in.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
going to close the whiteboard, but I will save it for you and send it to you, Abby, if you want to continue to work with these images.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, even the word tenderness,
it's really
so
important. That's
comforting.
why I wanted to represent it because it was like that is, sometimes we ask the question of like what's needed to bring healing, and that's what got lost two
Yeah.
generations back, that your grandma didn't really know how to pass to your dad, dad didn't know how to pass to you, and you even in a sense, right? It's hard for you to be tender with yourself. It goes into all this judgment of like, you shouldn't be anxious, you shouldn't be, yeah. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So we brought the tenderness back in the accompaniment with 8-year-old you, right? Bringing back that softness and then starting to look at where that lives in the bigger picture of things. So, yeah. All right. You okay if I bring everybody back in now who might still be here because we're a little over time?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yep.
feeling okay?
Mhm.
Good. I'll tell you what, just do a little orienting. And everybody, as you pop back on screen, you can also orient. If you're still here, you can open up your camera and yeah. Right, we go in and do deep work, and then we also want to come back and go, right, yeah, I'm still in my room, and looks like things are still safe around me, and I think. Thank you so much, Abby. That was very
Mhm.
elegantly done here. Yeah. Does anybody have questions they would like to ask? You are all still here. Look, 8 participants. Um, you can also type your questions in the chat if you like, or you could leave your video off so you won't be recorded, but turn your microphone on to ask your questions. So as long as your video is off, you will not be in the recording. And I can also read questions in the chat if y'all know how to chat. And if it's not a question, if it's just like another lovely thing to share when someone practices vulnerability, is a need met or a gift received. Did that touch you in some way that you might like to share with Abby? Did it resonate for you, something personal in your own life? Very quiet bunch. Then I'm going to end the recording here. And just so that folks feel a little safer to come on screen and talk and chat. So I will say farewell, and you can email me questions if you wish. Of course, if this is work you would love to do for yourself, this is exactly how I work with folks in personal sessions. We had about an hour and 15 minutes. Um, and, we'll continue to unlayer. If I continued on working with Abby, we would drop back in next time and probably check on her 8-year-old and be like, hey, you still cool down there? And if she is cool, it's like that instant in her life is finished, right? The 8-year-old has what she needs, but then we would go through her timeline and see, are there other instances of anxiety? We might drop back into more moments in the recent event and process those and just start to unpack that backlog of alarmed aloneness and anxiety out of her body one session at a time. So it's just like a glass that we're emptying out. There's less and less water in it to be triggered. And what she'll feel is just more and more safety, more and more ease, more and more relaxation, less and less triggered over time. Now, this is a long backlog of anxiety. And it's pretty strong for Abby. It might take some time, might take 3 months or more for us to start to lower the water in that glass. And but the big piece is because it's so strong in her family system, and that's only on one side of her family. We've only looked at dad's side. That's where Abby tracked it to. It was stronger on that side, but we also need to look at what else is on this side, on mom's side with her, right? So, but that can make big dramatic steps when we start to kind of extract it, release it from the family field. She'll also feel her level of what she's been holding and carrying for the family go lower and lower over a series of sessions. Okay, hang